What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, Terrence Bud Crawford in a sit down with Max Kellerman completely shuts down the notion that he's too small.
I assume you are, but let me ask, of the old adage in boxing, the great big man beats the good big man beats the good little man?
But that's what they say, but it's not always the case. You know, when you look at all the great little mans that moved up in weight, they beat the great big man. You know, a lot of people, they running with that narrative. Who came up with that?
Well, they just noticed through the years, man, for 100 years, you're right, there have been examples.
I'm saying, who came up with that?
I don't know if there was a...
See, I can't
name the person.
Don't nobody know who came up with that, and everybody just running with it because they don't know what they talking about. You know, when we look at the history of boxing, more little men moved up in weight to be the bigger man than boxing. More little men, when you talk about Floyd Mayweather, when you talk about De La Hoya, when you talk about Pacquiao, when you talk about Sugar Ray Leonard, when you talk about Roberto Duran,
Are you aware?
And then, so he shuts down Max Kellerman and the whole notion that great big men beat little men. Who came up with that? As you heard Terrence Crawford just say, right? Which is true. I never thought about it that way. A lot of times, we have great little men moving up in weight and beating great big men and becoming legendary. He's 1000% correct. It's just in the mega fights where you have great little men jumping up to fight great big men in mega fights. The great little man typically comes up small. But how many true examples do we have of that, right? Then he goes on to say, this is not about beating Canelo Alvarez, okay? This is about becoming undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. If you don't know, if you're living under a rock, Terrence Crawford is the undefeated 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and reigning WBA junior middleweight, and pound for pound #1 best fighter in the world with a record of 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. He became the first 4 major sanction belt, undisputed junior welterweight. He became the first 4 major sanction belt, undisputed welterweight world champion. And now, on top of that, he became the first male because Clarissa T-Rex Shields became the first male or female to become undisputed in 2 separate weight classes. But then Terrence Crawford, as a male, he became the first male to become undisputed with all 4 major sanction belt era in 2 separate weight classes. Now he's looking to achieve that the 3rd time. Now, we have Monster Inoue have done it after him. Alexander Usyk did it after him, but he did it first. And now he's looking to do it in a 3rd separate weight class and jumping essentially 3 weight classes, right? So he stated that, yes, he's fighting a Hall of Famer, a first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, Saul Canelo Alvarez, who's 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. And he's asked about, fighting against Canelo. He said, listen, I'm not chasing Canelo Alvarez. I'm chasing history. Canelo Alvarez, we already seen him get belt to cheeks. You know what I'm saying? We already seen him get BTA already, right? If you don't know what BTA is, you can figure it out, right? He said, we already seen him get BTA already, right? This is what he said. He said, becoming 3-division undisputed world champion is bigger than beating Canelo Alvarez, right? He said, boxing has never seen a 3-division undisputed champion. That's something that's never been done. But we've seen Canelo Alvarez lose before and get BTA, which is 1000% true. People forget the thing is, and I don't want to discredit Terrence Crawford's victory against Canelo Alvarez, and I don't want to discredit Canelo Alvarez as a fighter himself, right? So with that said, we've seen him lose every single round to Floyd Mayweather, but there's a built-in excuse. He was too young. Although he had 40 plus fights, 5 title defenses, and a unification bout against the second best guy in his division, or third guy, in Austin Trout, who was a world champion, and he unified and beat a slick southpaw in Austin Trout, who was bigger than him, a southpaw who beat Miguel Cotto, whose confidence was high, and Canelo beat Austin Trout, then lost to Floyd Mayweather every single round. But they tell you that he was too young, but he wasn't too young for Austin Trout. He wasn't too young for the fighters he fought before he fought Floyd Mayweather. He wasn't too young for Shane Mosley, right? Ironically, Shane Mosley's highly decorated and an older fighter, but he wasn't too young for Shane Mosley. But he was too young and too green for Floyd Mayweather, although he beat Shane Mosley and Austin Trout before he fought Floyd Mayweather, right? Then he showed the same flaws 2 fights later when he fought Erislandy Lara. But he got away with it, a victory against Lara that many people thought Lara won the fight. Okay. Then we seen him lose all but 2 rounds, at worst 9 rounds to 3, to Dimitri Bivol. And they build an excuse again. And they tell you, well, he was daring to be great, he was jumping up in weight. Which is simply not true, because he already jumped up in weight and beat a bigger guy and knocked a bigger guy out in Sergey Kovalev. A bigger puncher in Sergey Kovalev, who's 6'1", who's actually naturally bigger than Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol is considered a small, light heavyweight at 6 feet tall with a 72-inch arm reach. He has shorter arms than Terrence Crawford, and same arm reach as Floyd Mayweather. Dimitri Bivol is not a big puncher at all whatsoever, okay? Nobody's confusing Dimitri Bivol as being this massive big puncher. No, he's a boxer, he's a technician. That's who Dimitri Bivol is. He's not a knockout artist, okay? And Canelo Alvarez got schooled by Dimitri Bivol, who has 25 fights and only 12 knockouts. He's 24 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 12 wins by way of knockout. He lost all but 2 to 3 rounds against Dimitri Bivol. But he already had beaten Sergey Crusher Kovalev at 175, who's bigger than Dimitri Bivol, okay? Who has 36 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, and 30 knockouts. A bigger puncher, a bigger fighter, the Crusher, who was bigger than Dimitri Bivol. And Sergey Kovalev beats Canelo beats Sergey Kovalev and becomes a 4-division champion. Then he attempts to do it again against Bivol, and he comes up short. And then everybody builds in another excuse and say, "Well, that was because he was daring to be great and Bivol was too big." Lies. So we've seen him schooled and lose twice. Period. And now people are trying to act like we didn't see what we saw. We saw it. That's it. That's all. And so Terrence Crawford is saying, listen, we already seen Canelo Alvarez lose. It's a great victory because he's still in his prime and he's still a Hall of Famer. He's still an undisputed champion, but becoming undisputed is bigger than beating Canelo Alvarez. And fans is getting mad and trying to say Terrence Crawford don't know what he's talking about. He's 1,000% correct. Period. But let me know what y'all think, man. The accomplishment is bigger than beating Canelo Alvarez. It truly is. And that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, or one word, it's your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.